What's up, guys? This is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my commentary on the Tokyo 2020 Olympics indoor volleyball matches. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who provides volleyball tutorials, jump training workouts, and other cool volleyball videos. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more content. The last game I reviewed was the Brazil versus Japan men's volleyball match, and as much as I was rooting for Japan to try to make it to the Olympic finals in their home country, Brazil definitely deserved that win with some aggressive offense, better ball control, and just a more dominant performance. If you want to watch my commentary on that video, make sure you click on that video link below. In this video, I'll be commentating on the quarterfinal match between Poland and France men's volleyball match, which was suggested by you guys. So let me know what match you would like me to comment on next in the comment section below. Let's get this Olympic party started. Excited to watch another quarterfinal match here. And we finally get to see Kubiak offer the first serve. The last match I watched between Poland and Iran, Kubiak was off, and probably because they were saving him for some of the more important matches like the quarterfinals. Now off of this first service error, that's okay. In the first set, you're going to see a lot of serving and hitting errors because hitters are still trying to find the rhythm as they're getting warmed up for the game. And great pass from Leon. And commit block from Chinesi. Chinesi commits and he drifts with Kochanovsky. So that's one thing you're going to start seeing from a lot of middles. They're going to run these drifting sets, these push ones, to try to get a free hole in the block. But Chinesi reads that really well, and Drizka runs a great quick set to Keurig. What's interesting about Keurig, he's 6'10", very tall, great jumping ability. You see him pointing at the floor. I think he's pointing at a wet spot. What great sportsmanship. He is concerned for the safety of France, and that's a good role model there. That's something we should all be. No matter, even if you're trying to beat the opponent, you always want to make sure that no one gets injured there. So back to saying what from Keurig, he has a short approach. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Good hard swing from Patry, aiming high into the inside tool. Usually when people tool the block, it's going to be off to the closest sideline. But sometimes when the blockers take away your line, you have to go for the tool on the other side. France's best server usually curves from left to right. Pass a little bit far left from Kubiak, but Drizka maintaining a good connection with Binyek. Binyek's got a good height, 6'11". And what's interesting about his approach is he does not have a big, long approach. He also gets off the ground quickly. He has a short backswing, long arms. So he gets on the ball faster than most middles. That's what makes him difficult to stop. Keurig with a long jump serve approach here. And targeting Grebennikov, not a good target because they're going to pass well. And looks like Ingapet cannot hold back his momentum. I think the set was a little bit lower than Ingapet anticipated. And so Ingapet was forced to tip it, but also jump a little early, which causes a broad jump. And you usually don't see a lot of emotion from Coach Tilly, the French coach. And Keurig getting his serve off hard and heavy. Slowed down by the net there, easily handled by Ingapet. And trying to get Chinesi set up. Leon with the out-of-system swing. Not fully ready for that one just yet. That was a great bump set. And Leon actually usually hits those in, but still early in the game. So I love his aggression. I mean, that's what you have Leon there for. Just to swing. And when he gets a chance, he usually does hit it in and hard. Chinesi high float to Zakatorski, Polish libero. Force tip, a little bit tight for Leon there on the set. Bump set from Chinesi and tooled from Klevino. That's one of the hardest swings to you see it gives Chinesi a little kiss on the cheek. as a thank you. That's one of the hardest swings to take, and Kliveno, one of the older members on the team, a veteran, when the set's coming over your head, you can't see the block, but he still aims down the line, and Driska gets tooled there. Chinesi to Kubiak, pass, and late on the block from Legoff. And when Leon is in system, he is nearly unstoppable. He's actually great both in and out of system. And I can't wait to see this Polish team play with Kubiak and Leon as the pin hitters, and Kirik. That's a lot of firepower. And Leon usually has one speed, which is 100% every time. Look at that serve. But great pass from Kliveno, just keeping it high off the net. And he takes a smart swing high, but based on his body language, looks like he thinks it was out. So probably no challenge from France. That was a solid triple block from Poland. Now, even though Poland does not get the block, they earn that point still by having a well-formed block, because hitters can see that, and they're going to try to swing around. So you're forcing the hitter to make a risky decision there. Slowed down by the tape, Grebennikov with a solid pass. Great soft block by Biniak, and fast transition from Kirik. I think that set was a little low, but Kirik making it easy. He has a quick two-step approach and just aims low into that seam, and he beats the block there. So you see how he has to shorten his arm swing. And Kirik, 6'10", and jumps really high. Even though he doesn't get the ideal set, he knows how to deal with some of those low sets there. He's a veteran on the team. That was a rocket. That was a crush on the ball. Another out-of-system swing from Kliveno. Kirik digging, and we have Leon hitting on the right side, and that ball was down. So why is Leon hitting on the right side? You saw Kirik make that dig in the middle of the court, taking away the middle back hitting lane. And this is something Poland trains, and a lot of great teams train. Then the outside hitter will transition to hit in place of the D ball, which is the back row right back attack. And they ran it so smoothly, so you know they practiced that. Another hard serve. Ingapet with a tough pass. Another out-of-system swing from Kliveno. He almost gets the wipe. Kubiak, does he go for the hands? He does. And it's a laser out. And the referee immediately calls a touch there. No argument from France. And he does get a little fingertip there. That's a great swing from Kubiak. When you're a small hitter, I mean small in international terms, you have to be creative with your attacks there. And Leon on a great serving run. He's been serving rockets. Another huge crush, but well handled by Grebennikov. High swing from Patry, and France finally gets a side out from Leon's 4-point serving run. Now Patry, he's got great size and good jumping ability. He's not going to be the hardest hitter on the French team, but he's one of the smartest players. He's going to swing into the hands, chisel a little bit, roll shot, make you think. He's got a decent jump serve here. Zatorsky takes a little bit off that, and they set up Biniak again. Actually, I believe this is Binyak's first attack. He stays open to the setter, which allows him to hit that angle there. And Grebennikov makes a great read. See how his hands are apart? He's doing that on purpose. When the ball's slower, you want to connect your platform, but when people are spiking at this level, the ball's moving so fast that you actually don't have time to put your platform together. So you have to keep your arms separated and just literally scoop the ball. Lift it up. Bieniak, one of the best servers in the world. Decent pass by Kliveno. Out-of-system swing from Patry. And one-arm dig from Driska. Bump set from Leon. Kubiak takes a quick step approach. Dug by Patry. And now we have Ingapet hitting from the right side. Two smart plays from both teams here. So we have that middle lane taken by Grebennikov and Patry. And Ingapet hits from the right back here. Wow, you can see how both teams on such a high level of volleyball doing that same transition where the outside hitter hits the right back attack. Patry with another jump serve. He changes it up to a float to Leon. And another quick set to Kirik. A little bit low for him. And Ingapet with a simple blocking move. One thing that Ingapet is doing really well here, he keeps his feet stopped and he jumps straight up and down, reaches into the angle and keeps his arms very still. Sorry, I hit the mic on that one. He keeps his arm very still. A lot of blockers want to make fancy moves, but it's about simple blocking moves that make you more effective. And another block from Ingapet there. Kubiak too quick step, but it looks like Tony Uti overruns Kubiak on the block. He gives Kubiak too much angle. You'll see here Tony Uti closes outside the body, and that's why Kubiak has so much angle to hit in. And he crushes the ball at Ingapet, unable to control that. And look at how much fire Kubiak has. Kubiak is the team captain for a reason. He is the team's true leader and the engine of the team there. Great pass from Ingapet off the net. And Petrie keeps it high. Great deep swing. Leon can't control it. Now Leon is mainly there for serving and attacking. His ball control is not going to be as strong as Kubiak's or even Keurig. Keurig used to play outside hitter, and he made a great switch, I believe in the 2016 World Championships, to opposite. And that was a great suggestion by Coach Antiga, former coach from Poland. And Keurig has been doing so well as an opposite hitter. Kubiak tools the block. And another smart play from Kubiak. He's an undersized outside hitter. But look at him hitting from the right side. He hits away from his body, tooling the outside hand of Ingapet. Now most smaller outside hitters are going to play in the L2 position, and you're going to be more of a ball control position. But Kubiak can hit from both sides. Great pass from Ingapet here. In system set to Ingapet to reward the pass. And one-on-one is not going to get it done against one of the world's greatest attackers here. Now, even though Ingapet is shorter than Keurig, Ingapet is just so smart and has great hitting vision at the top of the net. Hybrid serve from Tony Uti, well handled by Zatorski. And you are not going to stop Leon in system either. I hope they play the slow-mo, because one thing you're going to see him contacting at the height or above the antenna. That's incredible. That is so high of a contact. Now as a setter, he keeps him fast, but he also keeps the set high, crossing it at the top of the antenna there. Now Kochanowski with his signature jump serve, jumping from left to right, going into that angle and setting up Chinese there. And Chinese, I believe, does a drifting jump too. I wish they would play the slow-mo so you can see, but this is something that a lot of middle blockers are starting to do for their offense. They'll approach straight to make the opposing middle blocker think they're going to jump straight, but then they drift a little bit to the left to create an opening for themselves. And for the Haikyuu fans out there, you'll recognize that move from Hinata. Fantastic pass from Kubiak. And France almost gets that block, but Poland able to beat the French block with a little bit of speed here. So you see how Chinese has to do a quick shuffle block and can't close in time. So all he can do is get his hands up barely off the ground, and Leon takes advantage of that poorly formed block there. The reason why players put their hands on the back of their heads is to protect their heads from getting hit from a missed jump serve. Another poor pass from Ingapet, but a great bump set to Klivno. Great dig from Kubiak and two-step approach from Keurig again. Keurig is just always ready to hit. Even though Keurig is a big guy, look at him take just a quick transition two-step approach, and he gets on the ball so fast. In volleyball, you don't always have time to take a big approach. And Keurig has a huge hitting window. That means almost any type of set you give him, he can quickly close to the ball and take a good swing on it. He doesn't need a perfect set all the time, as evidenced by the last few sets he's received. Now for his jump serve, he has a very long approach because he's trying to gather all that energy. Another rocket, but great pass from Grebennikov, keeping it high off the net. Off blocker dig from Leon there. And Kubiak with a jump set. Driska going right back to Leon and hitting right over the block. That is huge. Leon also doesn't need a lot of time to gather. He also just takes a quick two-step approach. And the French block is pretty well formed. But I believe Leon hits over. Yes, he hits right over Patry. And Patry is pretty tall, 6'9", 6'10". But Leon, when you're 6'7", and you have long arms and you jump, that's a perfect combination for a dominant outside hitter. And Leon's been dominating since he's been 16 years old when he first came out on the international scene. Roll shot from Keurig. They got to stop serving the libero because Grebenikhov's been passing so well. But Poland reads this situation so well. Oh, he tries to challenge the block. Okay, so you might be wondering, why is he hitting right into Drizka? When you have Binyek, who is 6'10", 6'11", and Drizka, who is around 6'6", you usually want to attack the shorter blocker. But as a result, Drizka is able to turn the ball back in and punishes that swing. And Poland continues their unrelenting service performance. Another crush there. Patry tries to get a tip kill. Drizka digs the ball pretty easily. High set to Leon from Kubiak. But Leon keeps it high on the swing and tools off the hands against a very big, well-formed French block. Sometimes you can do everything right on the block and still lose the point because the advantage is always going to go to the side that has the ball. You see the French players staying warm. Everyone's engaged in this match. And Poland is just on another level of focus and determination here. Jump serve again to Grebenikov. Great pass. And good block read from Binyek and Leon. Quick transition to Keurig. And fantastic dig from Grebenikov. Wow, quick thinking from Patry. I'm surprised Poland didn't get that up. And if you see the slow motion for Grebenikov's dig, his arms are separate. And he scoops the ball up. He doesn't have time to put his platform together. He just literally lifts the ball quickly. And why is that not called a lift? Because the ball's coming out of the hand still so fast from the speed of the dig, or the speed of the attack, excuse me. Jump throw across court to Kubiak, another great pass. High swing, great dig from Chinesi. Quick back transition to Engapet. Now Engapet is celebrating like he won the point, but the ref is calling it out, and you hear the buzzer. France with a challenge here. I believe they're going to call to see if the ball was on the baseline or the sideline. So it seems like Tony Uti has been setting Engapet a little bit low, or Engapet needs to go earlier because he's forcing to drive the ball out. Oh, just out. Now, if you're new to volleyball, the replay system is measuring the ball compression, not just the ball contact, but as the ball completely compresses on the floor. So you'll see a lot of balls that look out, coaches will still call replays because when the ball compresses and flattens out, it might actually still touch the line. And Leon with another fantastic serving performance, but hits that one out. Now France is actually playing pretty well, but Poland, you have Leon with 3 to 4 serves, and you have Keurig with 3 to 4 serves and rockets. And you have Boyer coming in, I think a blocking sub for Tony Uti, and you have Brizard in. So a lot of teams using the 6-2 system to get a little bit of blocking towards the end of matches. And Brizard with his own heavy arm. He is France's top server. He hits the snot out of the ball. Look at that heavy serve. Zatorsky can barely handle that. They have to set out of system to Kubiak. Gets blocked. Great cover by Zatorsky. Another quick transition to Keurig. But the bump set was a little bit behind the 3-meter line, forcing Keurig to jump under the ball. And when you jump under the ball, you cannot get good contact. You're forced to swing out or into the net there. And Brizard, not only is he a powerful server, he's also very consistent. He plays his professional volleyball in Russia. Solid serve there. Zatorsky with another tough pass. Keurig taking a full approach. Does he aim down the line? He's begging for a touch there, but he shakes his head, hoping the ref's going to change his mind, but the ref calls it out. Is there going to be a challenge from Poland? Each team gets 2 challenges per set. It's already late in the set. I would try to challenge just to slow down Brizard. But instead, Poland takes a timeout here. And France already with back into a 3-point game thanks to Brizard serving. Gets another laser in, but Kubiak handles that so well. Now that set was a little far off the net, and Legov takes advantage of that small space that Kubiak has. See how Kubiak has to jump off the net, which doesn't allow him to tool the block. And Legov, remember how we talked about keeping your blocking moves simple. You see how their hands are still. They're not reaching all over the place. They're not getting fancy. The best blockers have simple, direct moves here. Another solid serve and an ace off of Kubiak. That is one of the most lethal serves. Serving down the line. Such a short distance. And he hesitates. I think he thought the ball might have gone out. He lets go, but then the ball's moving too fast and still touches his platform here. And Brizard asking for the crowd for some energy there. Brizard on another serve here, and he's been keeping it in. No, that ball is served just out. But he has brought France from a 6-point gap all the way to a 2-point gap, and they have a chance to side out to bring it down to a 1-point gap. And Kaczmarek there in as a blocking sub for Driska. And he is also a recent European champion on his Polish club team that did so well. Biniak with one of the most lethal serves. You don't know whether he's going to jump float or jump serve, and they're all at high velocities. Boyer with his first swing of the match there. Kubiak sets in, and Keurig forced a broad jump. Does he violate the 3-meter line? I think there's a net from France. Wow, Poland gets saved from that one. And I think Kubiak forgot that he was supposed to set because Kaczmarek was in mainly to block and hit. Boyer gets it on the way down as he's rotating. That is tough. That was France's opportunity to dig. Gorbenikov was all over that. And France was playing so well that they were probably going to get that transition kill. Biniak with a jump float again towards Ingapet. Not a good choice. And great dig from the middle. Biniak, another out-of-system swing from Keurig, keeps it high. And Kaczmarek having a set here. High sweat set to Kubiak. And another net. Let's see who nets this one. Boyer is saying no. Legov saying no. And Klevino. They should just challenge this one. There's one more challenge for the match. It's close enough to where this can really make a 2-point switch here. I love it when players ask referees who netted. It's really hard to see who netted. All you see is a body part touch the net. And Boyer was the first one to say it wasn't me. What a silly mistake. This is why players need to be honest, because now they just wasted a challenge. And Boyer is saying it's him. You know, I think he truly believes he didn't touch it. Maybe the adrenaline got to him, because he still is trying to deny it, even though the video evidence says otherwise. Now Biniak needs to change up his serve, because Ingapet's been passing his float too easily. And Biniak has a great hybrid serve. Does he? Okay, that's the one we're talking about. That's that laser. And Boyer with a second tough swing. And Kochanowski does a great job digging the first one, getting out of the way, and Kubiak knows he should have gotten that one. So Kochanowski just saves that one, and Kubiak, see how Kochanowski gets out of the way, and Kubiak, such a tough play. He knows he can't play the ball twice here. Great job from Boyer. And immediately Kubiak knows that he's tapping his chest. He knows that that was his ball. Hybrid serve to Leon. That's going to be their main serving target. And a fast set to Keurig. This is Keurig's third consecutive hitting error. And Poland, I don't think, has used any of their challenges yet, so this is a good time to use it. I think he was claiming a touch because that ball was pretty far out. Such a good setter. He always seems to have his hands straight and up at their highest point. Let's see what the replay says. No, they're challenging. Oh, they're challenging in. That's what we talked about. The ball compression makes it land in, and Keurig is just laughing. He's probably just knows he got a little lucky with that one. And this is the beauty of the replay system. The most important thing is the calls are right. Now Semeniuk in as a blocking sub, and Coach Vital probably giving him some instruction on who to help block, what to do in transition. Now Semeniuk also on that Polish club team that recently won the European Championship. Short serve from Driska trying to disrupt Ingapet's approach, and a crush from Klivino. Now Driska was set up well. Sometimes you just don't have time to react to the speed. Look at that. He was also had his platform separated. He didn't even have time to scoop the ball. And I love that France is using a lot of the players from the bench. And we have Luati, another serving specialist. He just keeps that one in play. And not a good choice when you have 4 solid hitters running at full speed here. Look at that broad jump. He just crushes that. And France got fooled. They committed to Kotanowski, and Chinese does a good job trying to keep his hands up to try to catch Leon on the way down. And Leon actually just squeezes the ball through underneath Boyer and Chinese. Top spin, easily handled by Grebennikov here, and great tip kill from Chinese. So whose dig is that? It's the off blocker. So the off blocker is whoever is in the front row and not blocking needs to dig the tip, whether you're setting the middle or defending against the outside hitters. Smart play from Chinese.
Thinking you might be able to do other things whilst the volleyball's on. I think you were going to have
Boyer usually has a really heavy jump serve here. Great broad jump. Satorsky handles that well, just like a dig. And what a final commit block. And Brazard a little bit bigger than Tony Uti. Look at this great swing block here. Brazard jumps into the seam, and Leon's been killing them in the seam. Brazard knows that. He dives in late. So not only is a big blocker, he's a smart blocker. Look at the impact that Brazard has made. You might be wondering, why has Brazard not started this match? Tunuti has historically had a better connection with his hitters here, but not this set.
Set point now for Poland.
Because it looks like the French hitters are doing a better job hitting off of Brazard's sets here. An untimely service error from Ingapet. And interesting, we have Binyek subbing out for Nowakowski. Nowakowski is a veteran on the team, so probably just for blocking. He's an experienced blocker. He's also a great attacker in his own right. Great pass from Ingapet there. Quick set back to him. Ingapet does his 360 dump, and Keurig with another quick transition. Does he get the ball in? Yes, he does. What a crazy approach here. For the Haikyuu fans, that's like a Mad Dog approach. You see how he's approaching along the net, except instead of crushing it hard angle, Keurig opens up to the net and hits it down the line. What a great finishing play from Keurig. Starting off our second set, and Brazard getting the start here. He's made a huge impact with the serving, blocking, and setting, so no surprise here. France quick to make changes. Short serve to Leon, disrupting his approach, but it doesn't matter because we have other Polish hitters who are ready to hit. So you might be wondering, why are servers serving short if the players are handling it well? You'll see both teams trying to serve Ingapet short and Leon. When you serve a player short, you disrupt their hitting rhythm and you take away the power from their approach. So it allows the blockers to focus on other hitters because less likely they're going to get set once they get served short there. Pass off the net. That's a quick set, but great dig from Keurig here. And high deep swing. Can they keep it alive? No. Now this is the benefit of Keurig playing outside hitter for so many years. His ball control is so much better than many other right side hitters. Look how big Chinese is on the net there. And that's a well-formed block. Oh, that's a tough play. Klivino's playing defense off the baseline because expecting a harder hit that's going to skim off deeper into the court. But he's unable to get balanced enough to quickly change direction. Keurig with a super high toss, takes a little bit off. Grebennikov with a great pass. And Petrie with a hard hit. I take that back. He's been hitting very hard this game. I said earlier that he's not a power player, but he crushes this one. Driska taking away the line and seeing that Petrie sees the angle wide open and crushes it into the angle. Engapet got a great serve. Zatorski with an even better pass. Another quick set to Kurik. It still looks a little low to him. You can still set him fast, but when you set a big guy who jumps that well low, you force him to swing low and into the block. So Driska's doing a great job setting Leon fast and high, allowing him to speed up to the ball but still contact at his peak. He needs to do the same for Kurik. And Leon had a great serving run during the last match, the last set here. Petrie high off the hands. That's the smart play you're going to see from him. He knows when to crush the ball and when to take a little off the chisel high into the hands. Petrie hitting 6 kills for 8 attempts. That's an insane hitting percentage. And Brazard doing a great job finding his hitting window. Chinese actually plays some decent defense as a middle. Gets a good serve in. And Kubiak avoids the net. And Driska taking a weak hitting attempt does not catch France off guard at all. Ooh, Le Goff reads that all the way. Le Goff is built like a rugby player. 6'9", but built. A lot of muscle. Very physical player here. He's a great read. He's also a veteran. He's been on the team for a while. And Kubiak with a great pass. Binyek. And you see Le Goff getting on his team. He knows that he slowed the ball down. They should have dug that one up. It's okay to get on your team a little bit, especially when you know you've been working your butt off. You want to push your team to play better, especially in the quarterfinals of the Olympics. These are some of the most important matches of these young players' careers. Binyek is probably going to go with the hard hybrid, no longer with the float. That's worked last time. And there we go, but he's aiming at the wrong person. Le Goff up and early. Now Poland read that and committed to Le Goff, but Le Goff just overpowered him. So you see how Kochanowski, they both read, they double commit with Driska and Kochanowski, but Le Goff sees a double block and is able to change the direction of the ball, earning the tool off the block. So not very deceptive, but when you have a good hitter, they're going to do good things. The little low toss from Petrie, he has to keep it in with a float serve. Zatorski handles it well. Kochanowski has to reach awkward behind him, and Driska tries to get it again. Quick set to Klivenov. High swing. I'm not sure why everyone was cheating up for the tip. Only one person should be dedicated to the tip, who's the off blocker. So that's a great soft block from Kochanowski here, but look at Leon cheating in. I think he was anticipating the roll shot and leaves the corner wide open. And once again, Leon, he works hard on defense and tries his best to pass the ball, but that's not going to be a strength here. Petrie tosses it too far behind him and ends up hitting under the ball, which is why the ball goes out. Petrie needs to toss in front of him, closer to the baseline, so he can really jump forward, keep the ball in front, and put more power on it by allowing his body weight to transfer into the ball. Driska is a great short server. He'll probably target Ingapet short here. Yes, he does. He takes him out of the bick. Wow, great overpass. Block. Brazard is just, everything that Brazard is doing, he is making a huge impact. Look at this turnaround block here. And Kochanowski, a huge jumper and big Polish hitter, usually puts that away, but Brazard with a great move. And I think Brazard is just used to playing against huge players during his professional season in Russia. He knows how to handle that type of size there. Kubiak has been passing really well. Look at that diving save. Now, why was that an awkward move by Grebennikov? He did not expect the ball to be thrown like that, so he's diving forward expecting a shorter tip. And I think the hitter tipped it a little deeper than he thought, so that's why he kind of fell, trying to dig the ball near his head as he was falling down. But that's one thing you're always going to get from Grebennikov is 100% effort all the time. That's why he's one of the world's best liberos. And look at that serve-receive pass, earning that in-system play from Brazar, finding Ingapet's window. Does Ingapet do a no-look tool? Yes, he does. That's his signature move there. He faces the angle and hits across his body. So you see how Keurig is jumping into the angle, thinking that Ingapet's going to hit into the angle, and Ingapet sees that and aims on the outside hand. Grab past from Zatorsky there. Good cover from Driska. And Kubiak being the backup setter. And Keurig with his own tool getting Ingapet right back. Now, tooling on the right side as a right-handed hitter is a lot harder. You have to rotate away from your body with your arm, which is an unnatural and less powerful movement. But when you play right side as long as Keurig has, you learned how to do that consistently. Kochanowski, not a big broad jumper on his serve. He kind of jumps straight up and down. Actually, no, he broad jumps on that one and hits it pretty hard, just serves out. I think everyone's trying to target Ingapet on serve receive. He's not going to be the strongest passer compared to Klivino or Grebennikov. Now Brazard, can he get the same service run from set number 1? Great high toss, loose arms, and whips into the ball. Usually when they serve out, it's not because they're hitting too hard. It's mostly because they're hitting a little too behind or under the ball. At that height, at this professional level, you want to contact slightly on top of the ball. Keurig also had a fantastic service performance in set number 1. Can he get something going for this group? That one he tosses it to, he needs to toss it more forward and be more aggressive with his toss so he can really jump forward closer to the net and contact it on top. Now Ingapet, I would say Ingapet and Brazard are probably the 2 best servers for France. But Ingapet's streaky, he's always going for aces, so you're going to see a lot of errors with his serves. He takes a little bit off on that one, easily handled by Leon, and commit block from Chinese. Does he drift? Let's see if he drifts with Binyak. No, Binyak jumps straight ahead, and Chinese fronts him. And so you'll see how his hands spread. A lot of middle blockers will do that technique, and Binyak's like, that was just a good move. So a lot of middle blockers will start wide to take away both angles and then close with one hand to the other toward where the hitter ends up hitting. Another solid serve from Ingapet, but not as hard as serve. He usually puts a little more heat on that one. Great soft block from France. Who's going to take a swing out of system? Klivino does. Takes a smart swing. Unlucky trickle off the net. So when you're covering your hitters, that's why you have to get really low to the ground. Your body has to be below the net. Chinese is kind of partly covering, but because he's standing, he doesn't buy himself enough time. And he's so tall that he ends up putting his platform into the net. So hitter coverage, try to get below the net. Buy yourself time to actually react to the ball, because that was a great swing by Klivino. And great serve from Leon, high set to Petrie, and Petrie does a great job tooling the smaller blocker Kubiak. Jumps straight up, but Petrie wipes away from his body. You see how he does a no-look wipe, finishes his arm away to the right of his body. And that's one thing that Kubiak is not going to specialize in, is blocking. He is a great passer, defender, server, and hitter, but blocking is going to be his weakness here. That's a much higher set to Keurig. You see how Keurig is able to reach at his peak, and it's still a fast set. That's a great adjustment for Driska here. And Nowakowski in. I believe permanently in for Kochanowski, because maybe Kochanowski has been getting blocked and not blocking well enough. So you bring in one of your veterans in. Binyak with a float serve to Ingapet. He needs to keep it a little tougher on that one. There's an easy dig, but off the net, forcing a bad set from Driska there. Much better transition play. So there's a difference in transition. You see how Poland, they got a soft block, but they weren't able to pass all the way to the net. France is able to pass all the way to the net in transition, which makes it so much easier to run all 3 hitters in the front row. So ball control is so important at this level. So Leon needs to sharpen it up if he wants to be able to have Poland run their offense in transition. Again, Petrie tosses it too close to him. He needs to toss it more forward. Especially when you're so big and you jump so well, it's better to air too far forward because you can always find a way to jump at it. I mean, these athletes are just so talented than it is to toss too close to yourself. Make an aggressive error there. That toss looked a little bit low for Driska. So a lot more service errors during the second set, which is rare because usually by this time hitters are warm and in rhythm. Errors are going to mostly happen in the first set, which was not the case here. Klivno tries to go crossbody. This is the 3rd service error in the row. If this is your first time watching men's volleyball, you're going to have to get used to this. You'll see how when the serve is too easy and passers pass the ball perfectly, teams can immediately side out and destroy the ball because that creates a 1 blocker against 1 hitter situation. So that's why these servers are trying to serve super tough to force a bad pass. So that one's taken a little too easy. And there we have an easy put away. And that's what we just talked about. So even if it is easy, Legov passes it really well. And in system, that means perfect pass, perfect set, and perfect hit. And Driska is set up, but you know, when a hitter is hitting at full rhythm from a great set, they're very hard to stop at this level. We'll see if Legov can put a little service pressure. So that's another good pass. And another easy put away opportunity. Now France actually read that play pretty well. They don't think they're going to set the Polish middle. You see how Chinesi doesn't even jump with the middle. Ingapet set up really well, but Keurig just keeps the swing really high and rotates hard into the angle, forcing that tool to the left of the court.
Right now, France, good for their lead.
Poland only down 1 point. But Poland feels like they have the momentum here. Great pass from Klivno. And great soft block from Keurig. High set, a little tight for Leon. Recycled, good cover. And Kubiak does a back set to Keurig there. Great dig from Grebennikov and a fantastic save from Engapet. Grebennikov passes super high, so France has a chance to set up. That's a bad free ball pass, forcing a cover. Driska getting tempo to Leon. Can Leon put it away? No. Another good blocking performance from France. Great read from Driska. Down ball swing. Great pass from Grebennikov. Back set to Petrie. And I think Petrie hits it out. Over rotates. And France had a great pass from Grebennikov's dig. And that was all thanks to Ingapet's save there. Look at that read from Driska there. Keeping the ball in play. Sometimes just keeping the ball alive frustrates the hitters, forcing them to hit an unnatural swing or to overswing sometimes. Now Poland bringing it back to a tie game. It looked like France was ready to continue their momentum, but Poland working hard every single point. We'll see how Poland responds with their block and defense game, because we know Nowakowski is going to keep it in play. And is that another overswing? Binya commits to Chinesi. Chinesi probably gets intimidated by the block right in front of him and overswings. Now I think Chinesi was not open to the setter and was forced to swing straight ahead of him. I wish they would show the replay so we can see what caused that hitting error. And this is what you want your middles to do. So they just need to be consistent. They're not going to go for aces here. And then, of course, right when I say that, he goes for the short serve into the net, because Poland was blocking and digging so well. Now, Brazard is one of the servers that needs to go for the aces. And fortunately for France, he is one of the most consistent servers. Great topspin, loose arm, serves down the line, trying to target Leon, Poland's weakest passer, and just misses that one. But Brazard has been doing so many other things very well. He's been setting and finding his hitters, playing defense and blocking so well that the error is nothing to him. Look at how long Keurig approaches. He's a big guy with a big jump. And both teams are just vying for a lead here. Tied 16-16. It's whoever gets their hard serve in is probably going to win this game here. Ingepet also going to go for the ace. Great toss, broad jump, goes hard into it, forces a bad pass, out of system swing to Leon. That's exactly why you want to serve tough. When you force a bad pass, you create a predictable hitter situation and you can give your blockers time to set up. Look at that penetration. Look how synchronized that block is. Everyone presses over the net all at the same time. No holes, and Leon tries to challenge the block and gets shut down. Now Ingepet, can he serve another tough one in the seam? And that's the risk you take. But what's the reward? You get 2 points for one of yours, and now it's tie game, and France now with the side-out advantage. And Leon is probably going to have the same game plan. He's going to go for it. Now Leon likes to serve across his body. He doesn't really serve down the line very much. He just tries to hit it and rotate as hard as he can. He goes for that cross corner. And Cliveno, great out-of-system hitter. Great cover from Ingepet. Another opportunity for Cliveno, and he tools it high off the block. Cliveno is such a smart hitter. 6'6". Played many years professionally in Italy. Learned a few things there. And what patience. He gets blocked on the first one. The setter trusts him to get France out of that play again. And Cliveno swings even higher and harder. You don't want to create the same swing multiple times. You want to change it up a little bit, and that's what Cliveno does. Easy jump flow, but poorly handled by Kubiak. Kubiak with a great high swing, but covered by Ingepet again. Back set to Patry, and taking advantage of the smaller blocker matchup with Kubiak. Now, even though the block was set up, oh no, he goes for the seam. He gets a little bit lucky play there into Bignac's hands. But that's the benefit of aiming high into the hands. It's very difficult to control that amount of power from the hitter. Now France on a run here. Another benefit of keeping the ball in play, and Bignac, he opens up to the setter again, exposing that angle. See how he turns to the setter, and he hits away from his body to the right. That's very hard to do from the right front. And Kaczmarek in for another blocking specialist. We'll see who they have set on defense. One time it was Kubiak, and another time it was Kaczmarek. Bignac needs to go to his hard hybrid, not the jump float. He goes for a jump float again. And France cannot convert on that three-point pass there. Roll shot to Leon. He actually passed it well. Ooh, that's a tough set. Might have been called a double. And Kubiak struggling against a three-man block. Now that's where the size does make a difference. You got a huge French block. Look at how high that block is near the top of the antenna. And he aims a little bit low on that swing. You see how he aims into the forearms. He needs to aim a little higher and upward and out in order to have any chance to tool the hands. But France has been blocking so well this game. And France maintaining their 2-point lead here. Probably going to serve Leon. No, Zatorsky takes that away from him. And another in-system pass. And Driska doing a great job again, keeping Keurig higher on that tempo set. And Slivka. This is an interesting sub. Okay, probably end a block for Kubiak. I don't think this is a permanent play, because Kubiak's actually been passing decently well, but he's not been converting on hitting opportunities. So we'll see if this is a permanent one. I think mainly as a blocking sub. Short serve to Ingapet again, take him out of the play, and they're going to call that a lift. And France is going to argue that one, of course. But throughout the Olympics, the referees have been calling this a lift. He kind of holds on to it. Yeah, so that's a lift there. You see how he holds on to it a little bit too long. Referees used to let this go a lot, but I think due to the replay system. And it's funny, we got a camera here facing Ingapet like Ingapet's talking to a security camera there. He's telling the referee, you got to call the double if you're going to call a lift on us. Now back to a tie game just like that. Driscoll with a short serve, but Cliveno is one of France's best passers. Great cover by Ingapet. Can Petrie get them out? No, he does a recycle play. Brizard keeps it fast to Cliveno. Cliveno goes high off the block again. Now France has been doing a fantastic job tooling the bigger block, and Poland has been struggling to keep their swings high. That's interesting because France, being an undersized team, is used to hitting against bigger blockers, so they've developed their high tooling opportunities. Poland is used to being a bigger team, so they're used to hitting over the block, so they need to develop that high tool as well. Great pass from Leon there, and fast set from Keurig. Wow, amazing cover, and the ref needs to call a lift on this one to make it even. That's a great call. This referee has been doing a great job managing this match here. Brizard just shutting down the line. Keurig needs to keep his swing a little higher. And Leon with a great cover there. What a great coaching move to start Brizard over Tony Uti. Tony Uti has been struggling in the first set. Hybrid serve and great pass from Poland. Fast swing transition. I think that ball just sails out. Might have been a little bit low for Slivka. And Poland is going to call for the challenge there. Coach Vital a little bit frustrated on the sideline, having a quick word to his setter about setting choices. Yeah, not even close. Might have challenged the tool on the hands, but I think the coach from Poland was just trying to buy a little bit of time. Not have to use a timeout because Poland can come back. They're only down 3 points. It's been done many times before. And that slowdown from the coach does its job. Takes Cliveno out of his serving rhythm. And there we have Kevin Tilly, the coach's son. A great server and passer, dynamic hitter as well. Slivka, left-handed outside hitter. You're not going to see many of him out there. Also on that recent European champion team for his Polish club team. He does a hybrid serve instead, but Cliveno just passing so perfectly, and as a result allowing France to have their way with their offense. And Petrie just so smart. That's why I thought he wasn't a power hitter, because every time I see him play, he's just making such smart moves. But I think he's just being very efficient. He reserves his power energy for when needed against a one-man block. When it's a two-man block, he's just going to tool off the block and just be a smarter player here. And Luati in to serve as a serving specialist. He's been serving really well throughout the whole tournament, and he gets to play a little defense from the left back. But Keurig just crushing it, keeping that swing high. As long as Keurig can keep his swing high, France is really going to struggle. But Keurig has a tendency to bring the swing a little bit low throughout the match. And this all depends on France's passing ability for them to be able to finish this game. It's game point France. And they have Nowakowski here, who's consistent, but can he make it a little tough enough to throw him off? No, and that's a good pass from Ingapet, and easy put away from Cliveno there. France with a great response after being dominated in the first set. Here we are starting off the third set here, 1-1. Keurig struggled to get his serve going in the second set, and tries to roll this one in, takes a little off and hesitant, and ends up hitting that one out. Sometimes when you hesitate or doubt what you're doing, your body ends up changing the mechanics of what usually works. But I don't blame him for trying to just take a little off because he has been serving out and he's probably just trying to dial it in a little bit. Ingapet rolls it short. Wow, great save from Zatorsky. And great high swing from Leon, but a fantastic dig. Short dig from Driska there. High ball to Keurig. And Keurig keeps it high again. That is a fantastic out-of-system swing. And everyone's thanking Zatorsky because they know that he saved the ace. Great high swing. You love a libero that's going to work hard and celebrate with your team there. And you love a team that's going to appreciate what a libero does. Easy to overlook passing. Hard serve right to Grebennikov. Perfect pass there. Klevino tries to keep it high, but they get blocked by Poland. Send a free ball over. This one should be converted for an immediate point. Tight pass. Forces Driska to use one hand. And another fantastic dig from Zatorsky. They force another free ball. And Ingapet goes in for the on-two. Zatorsky does another great dig. Another great scoop from Zatorsky here. Tip into Petrie. And right back at Petrie to try to finish it. But Leon chases it down. And they're probably going to go high to Keurig. Yes, they do. And Keurig just finishes the play there. What a fantastic rally. All thanks to Zatorsky. Look at this here. This is why you have a libero on the court. Good deep swing there from Keurig. So interesting that Poland did not start Kubiak this match. He has been struggling hitting. So they'll see what they can get out of Slivka. And overpass from Ingapet. Fast transition, low set to Slivka. And Petrie just shuts that down. And Driska's been struggling to keep some of his hitters high. He's been having a good connection with Leon, but with Slivka and Keurig, he tends to keep them too low. And that's the risk you get when you try to run an offense that fast, is the margin for error is so small. Because on paper it sounds great, but it's very difficult to execute. Great pass from Zatorsky here, and crush from Nowakowski. What a super sub. He comes in and makes a huge impact with the serving. And look at that swing away from his body. He's already open to the angle, and then he cuts it even sharper by rotating and finishing to the side of his body. That is not diggable. That is in territory that nobody ever really stands in. And this is this. We've seen Binyak get subbed out many times throughout this Olympics for Nowakowski. So why not just start him? Great soft block from Binyak. And smart play from Keurig. Actually, sorry. Binyak is actually in. And Nowakowski is in for Kochanowski. And great play from Keurig. Another low set to Keurig, but he finds a way to get the job done. He's a veteran player who's also a very smart player. So you got the experience, and look at that. He's cheering his team on. He also adds energy to the team. I love his attitude. Great player to watch. And Brazar goes right back to Legolf. I think Binyak was not following him. Binyak was staying center. You see how he's kind of staying center, and that leaves a small gap for Legolf to hit at. So that's great vision from Brazard. A lot of setters will look at where the middle blockers are standing, or they can sense them through their peripheral vision. And wherever the middle is, they will set away from that middle. High off the pass from Leon here. High swing from Slivka. Great cover from Driska. And fast set to Slivka again. Wow. So you see how Zatorsky was facing Keurig, and he changes it at the last minute. That's why Brazar was cheating left, and then leaves Slivka open for the line. That is amazing. And what's interesting is usually Kubiak is the backup setter, but when he's off the court, Zatorsky steps in and sets a great in-system ball. And that's been a recent change in the last couple years. Liberos are no longer just setting a high ball. They are trying to run the offense just as well as their setters. And Brizard runs the middle straight in front of Binyak, which is not helped. And Keurig just goes right over the block. I would not run the Gulf straight ahead to the Polish middle there. It's going to be an easy block. They need to continue to move the French middles, either a back one or a three, to make the middles commit one way or the other to open it up for everybody else and get a free lane for the middles there. Poland up 7-4. I love Keurig. He's always just clapping his hands for every server. What a great teammate. Roll shot short from Driska. He's been missing that a good amount from this Olympics. He's usually very consistent with the short serve. And they'll probably do the same thing to Leon. Actually, no. Klivno's going to serve hard. Oh no, he does a jump float to Slivka, who struggles with the pass there. And Keurig, he usually does so well on the left side because he was a former outside hitter. But he gets under the ball a little bit and then overruns it, forcing to swing low into the block there. So he lets the ball cross over him and he overruns the ball. So he cannot. You cannot just be physical against these world-class teams. You have to be smart. And you have the good spacing and timing. That's a crush there. Wow. So Driska does a better job keeping it in front of Keurig, and Keurig just unloads. That's what we're used to seeing from Keurig on the left side there. Now, part of the reason why he might have overran the last set, because he usually has great spiking footwork, is the Polish team is running their offense so fast that the hitters have to commit early to their jumping route, and if the set is not right in the zone, they're going to end up overrunning it there. Slivka with the hybrid serve. Klivno have been passing really well the entire game, and Ingapet takes advantage of the late middle blocker. And Binyak's been getting tooled a lot during this game. It's through the hands, it's on the hands. That's a tough play. So you see how he's trying to rotate back into the court as he's blocking. He needs to get his hands over a little earlier, even if he's late. Great tip. No, that was a fast release. I think that was a good let go from the referee. He didn't hold the ball long. He just got it out of his hand quickly and just pushed it down. So, but France is going to argue every point. I would argue too, just to get in the referee's head, but from an objective perspective, that was very different than Klivno's push tip. And Klivno trying to get his team focused here. You cannot focus on the referee. You can argue, and then you got to move on. Benyak needs to stop doing his jump float. They've been passing that really well. He needs to bring back the heat, and he does. But Klivno been passing dimes all game. Roundhouse from Ingapet, signature move. Now, Ingapet doesn't determine this ahead of time. You see how he overruns the set a little bit, and he just adjusts it. And Nowakowski can't bring his hands down in time, and that's why he gets tooled. So when the ball crosses way past your left shoulder, and you're already committed to the path, that's why Ingapet does the roundhouse. It's already past him, and he probably did it one time as a freestyle, realized it worked, and now it's part of his main tool there. Short serve. Now, Brizard, even though that serve wasn't moving as fast, why did that ball hit the ground without being touched? Because everyone's backed up, thinking that Brizard's just going to blast the ball. And it's only 1 or 2 feet in front of the passer, but Brizard does a good job disguising it. He puts his arm all the way back like he's going to hit hard, takes a hard approach, and then just takes a little bit off to be deceptive here. Let's see if he hits hard this time. No, another short serve there. Keurig passes well. And Leon has arrived. That was a smash. That was such a hard hit. Open to the court. And even though they're playing in slow motion, the ball's still moving fast. Look at that. You can't even see the ball in slow motion. I like how the hitters are hitting harder and harder throughout the game. There's a greater sense of urgency as the game progresses. This is single elimination, so they know if they get knocked out here, there's no chance at a medal. And Chinese drifting. That's one thing that France has been doing really well. They drift. So he's going straight ahead and he jumps away laterally. So Nowakowski actually does a good job getting in front of him. But Chinese jumping laterally just to get that free window from the middle blocker. Sorry, I had to adjust my butt a little bit. I was falling asleep sitting for more than an hour now. Fast set to Leon, and that's what we're used to seeing from Leon, a dominant hitting performance. He hangs in the air, lets the blockers fall a little bit, and then he crushes it. He has a little different hitting rhythm than most of the other hitters. Keurig has a more traditional hitting rhythm where he hits at the peak. Leon hits almost like he's on the way down, so he has a little bit of hang time, gives them vision, but also gives the blockers time to drop down. Great back set to Patry, and Patry just so steady. And you can see why Patry is a starter for France here. Boyer might jump a little higher and hit a little harder, but Patry just makes better decisions, and he's so dependable. 12 kills on 19 attempts. That's a spectacular performance so far. That's what you need out of your opposite hitter. Tie game here. And Slivka with his first good pass. And Leon is just on a roll here. He is connecting with Driska perfectly. So Leon almost runs that at the same pace as the middle. He does jump at the same time, just barely a little bit after, and crushes that one. Now what they'll probably do is wait for France to double block Leon, and then Driska will set away from Leon, because if you don't commit to Leon, he's going to continue doing that to you. So I'm interested to see the long-term strategy for Driska setting decisions here. And they come back with their own big response. And Binyak just struggling to find a way to get a control block here. Binyak reads that really well. And he does a good job spreading his hand, trying to take away the angle, but when you hit that hard, it's very difficult to control the ball. High deep serve, Leon handles that really well, and Legolf is a little bit late, probably thinking about Leon from the back row, and Keurig gets a free seam to hit at. Now Driska with his serve, can he keep it in play? He just keeps that one in. And great jam from Brizard. That's another benefit of having such a tall physical setter. They can elevate and get a little more on top of the ball. Now Driska does read it well, but there's so much space to cover when you're trying to dig the dump there. And Brizard disguises it, puts both hands up, and then throws it down. And Ingapet gives him 2 slaps on the face, probably as a way to say thank you. And Binyak, that's why he's in. He's a great attacker, but Grebenikov with a great one-handed save. And Ingapet trying to save that ball. Are they going to call a lift? Yes, they do. Now Ingapet does a good job trying to push it softly into the block to recycle it, but they cannot get the cover in time. I'm sorry if you hear some background noise. The gardener is mowing the lawn just outside my window. But hopefully the gardener should be done in a couple minutes, because we can't stop this Olympic action here. Slivka, hybrid serve to the wrong person. Klivano's been passing so well. Now that's what we talked about. Patry can hit hard when it's one-on-one. He's very decisive when he wants to hit hard. He doesn't just blindly hit hard like so many other hitters.
Incredibly exciting as well.
And the Goff has a top spin toss, but a float serve. So interesting type of approach there. And Slivka struggling to get his serve receive in play. And France is starting to touch the ball of Leon. We'll see if they can dial it in here and eventually get a stuff block. But Leon has scored. He's 4 kills on the last 4 attempts here. And Binyak taking his time to walk back to the line here. He knows he has to get something done on his serve. He knows he's one of Poland's best servers. He needs to drive it. He cannot jump float anymore. He needs to take a risk. That's better. And that's okay. He took the risk. And Klivano, does that ball get hit in? Klivano has come up huge in this match. I think Tilly has gotten more starts in the beginning of the Olympics, but Klivano, one of the more experienced hitters and heavy hitters here. I think he hits a little harder than Tilly. He's come up so big for France with timely passing, Smart out of system hitting and dominant in system. Nowakowski takes that one from him. And high swing from Keurig there. High ball set to Ingapet. Does he get shut down? Are they going to replay that one? Now, interesting that Brazard kept this set high for Ingapet. Usually when you have a good pass like that one in transition, you want to keep your hitters fast in system so your blockers don't have time to set up. But that's a big block right there. 6'10" and 6'10". That was Nowakowski's first block. Looks like no replay called here. Big serve from Keurig, but they continue to serve Grebennikov, who handles them really well. Does he get a touch on the block? So that was a great read from the left front outside hitter. You have two blockers on the bic, and because they have not established Shinezi enough, the middle blockers are no longer jumping with the French middles, leaving all the French hitters just with two blockers to deal with, which is a lot at this level. So Leon there, actually, he was the outside hitter that was helping with the block there on the bic. Just out, but Keurig at least looks like he's in a better serving rhythm. That ball was out, but it was a good serve. You notice a lot of the blockers, they'll bunch block, which means they will get closer to the middle in their starting position so they can help with the middle. The sacrifice of that is it takes a little bit longer time to close to the antenna. And Ingapet just going for that one. He's been serving pretty well this set. So that's an appropriate error for him. He's a reason why France had a lead in the beginning. Leon has yet to repeat his serving performance from the first set. Hard serve, passing off the net, and they have a double block against Poland. They slow it down, or they think a set fast to Keurig, and they shut down Keurig. That is the type of swing where I think Keurig is starting to swing low. That's a great set. Yes, he does try to beat them in the seam. See how low that swing is. If Keurig just kept it high, he would have gone the tool there. But that's what Keurig tends to do. As he gets into a better hitting rhythm and he sees the seam, he tries to take it too often. So the swings are spectacular when you do that, but when you have such a hard-working blocking crew as France, they're going to find a way to shut that down eventually. And Luati tosses it a little too close to him, jumping under, hitting low into the net. Gotta shift positions again. My butt's falling asleep. This is the first time. Usually I can sit an entire match and be fine. I think this is because this is my 6th or 7th volleyball match commentating, so I'm not used to sitting still for so many hours in a period of 1 to 2 weeks. And Kaczmarek in for his regular blocking sub roll. Oh no, he's going to come in to serve. He's got a heavy arm. He's a big guy. And big broad jump. Look at that broad jump there. Puts his whole body into it and forces Kleveno off balance. And roll shot well tipped, well blocked by Poland there. And great dig from Poland there. Can they score in transition? Slivka cannot get ready for that one. That's a tough ball to hit as a left-hander. And soft block, but a little bit late. And Poland's going to argue that France was into the net, and they're going to call a challenge here. Good challenge from Poland.
I think there might be a net touch against France.
So Driska should have known that Slivka was left front. And that type of angle from the sideline as a left-hander is really, really difficult to hit. So he should have set high to Keurig across the court to keep it in front of his hitter there. And look at that. Keurig walking around, clapping his hands, giving high fives to his teammates. He's keeping people engaged. This is your leader here. Kubiak is the official captain, but Keurig is also an unspoken leader here, keeping his team morale up, taking advantage of all the downtime that happens during the challenge here. I'm not sure what's taking so long with this challenge. Usually it's pretty fast. So good high tool, and Kleveno is not even close to the net. Who ends up hitting the net? I think, does his shoulder hit the net?
So there's the net touch,
Oh, so France might argue if the ball was down before he touches the net. If I were France, I would challenge this one. The ball might have been out or down before he touched the net. But are they going to use the challenge here? Or can they challenge that? Can they synchronize two cameras? Now France is going to think that the reffing crew is against them, because this is the second call against France. And what is the Polish coach calling for? Is he calling for another sub into the court? And France is trying to buy a little bit more time. The captain's allowed to talk to the referee. Kochanowski in. Who is he going to substitute in for? Maybe Slivka? Get a little bit of block size, or Drizka? In for Drizka, the setter. So we have a huge, huge Polish block here. Two middles in the front row, two blocking specialists, although Biniak has been struggling to block this round. Oh, foot fault from Kaczmarek. What an untimely foot fault. But that's the risk you take when you're trying to broad jump that big. And usually it pays off for Kaczmarek. He's a great server. 2-point game. France could come back. A 2-point lead is not safe at this level here. Now Slivka is usually a better passer, so I don't know why he's been struggling so much in this game. It's hard to come in off the bench. That's a much better toss from Petri. Well passed by Leon, and crush from Biniak. Grebenikov makes another good read, but unable to control that. Now they have not shut down Biniak's angle, so they need to jump to the left to force Biniak to cut across his body. You see how he's trying to get in front of him, but Biniak is open to the right side of the court. So they need to force Biniak to turn the ball, block and jump to the left. Make him do something different. So even though Biniak has not been blocking very well, he's been attacking superb. Easy pass from France here. And right when I say Biniak has not been blocking well, he gets a stuff block. Was he committed, or did he do a read block? A read block is where you wait to see what happens and then you react. A commit block is where you find a hitter, you zone in on them, and you fully commit to your jump. Poland with a chance to get another point to bring him closer to game point. But Klivino's so steady, and what great vision. This is a great matchup. I think Poland is a little more physical, more powerful attacking team. And France is a little more cagey. They're going to go for the tools. They're going to see the block a little better. Short serve to Slivka, easily handled, and running again, Leon over Biniak. So that's a great setting strategy. Setter establishing Biniak, and you see how Legov has to jump with Biniak, and that overloads the middle zone, and Leon gets a free swing as Legov is on the way down. Great setting strategy. Setters usually think in bunches of points for this strategy. They don't just think 1 point at a time. So he probably thought long term, can I establish Biniak to open up Leon eventually? That's the usual Slivka serve we're used to seeing. But look at that kill from Ingapet with that stare down. When outside hitters pass and they get set, they usually put the ball away because they're such in a perfect hitting rhythm here. And Tilly, is he going to serve for Ingapet? So Boyer in to block. And Tilly as a serving specialist. Now you're going to get great defense from Tilly as well. Ingapet's been struggling with this serve. Interesting. Boyer in to block for Legov for a middle. So we have an opposite hitter blocking for as a middle. Oh no, they have Chinese in to block there. I think the graphic is wrong. So they have Boyer in for Klivino, I believe. Now that was a very miscue from Poland. They've been connecting with their hitters all game.
Tilly once again.
And Tilly just keeping it in play. Jump float, great pass from Leon. And you're not going to get a miscue twice from a world-class team like Poland. I'm not sure why Tilly didn't go for his jump serve. He's got a pretty solid jump serve, because when you serve it too easy to Poland, that's what happens.
Back in, head back in.
Poland has a comfortable lead. Can they serve aggressively enough to throw France out of system and score in transition here? Benyek can do it. He has a consistent hybrid serve. He does the hybrid again. Look how consistent that is. It's always in. Patry, great out of system. And Leon with a quick step back puts the ball away. That's what we're used to seeing from Leon. A no transition footwork. Does a quick step close to the ball and puts the ball away. What a crush. And great job refocusing from Poland here. Now Poland up 2-1. Starting off with Brizard. Currently the best server for France right now. And their best setter. Slivka just keeps the ball off the net. And Leon with a great line swing. Brizard almost had that one.
Leon likes to go cross court. He's bounced most of them that way. It's his first one he's had to the line.
That is the first line swing from Leon there. I don't remember the last time I saw him swing line. He usually loves to crush it in the angle, as you can see throughout this whole match. He just goes sharper and sharper and sharper. And teams usually can't stop it. Benyek did a great job serving towards the end of the last set there, and he gets an ace. It's so difficult to read. So a hybrid serve is where it's not a true topspin and it's not a true float. So it doesn't drop as much. It only rotates a little bit. And it still floats a little bit. You see how it kind of wobbles. So you can't predict when it's going to drop there. And look at that, right on the baseline. If Klivno tried to pass that, that would hit him in the chest. So I understand why he let that one go. But that's the beauty of the hybrid. You get the benefit of both. You get the speed, but also the movement of a float serve. Great day from Slivka. And that was a good tips choice. And Kurik is frustrated at himself. He knew he could have gotten this cover here. Right behind him. Actually, no, he might be frustrated at Nowakowski. That was a great play from Leon, trying to tip it into the block to recycle it. But they can't recover that ball. Deep serve long from Ingapet. He has not got his serve going this match yet. A small run during the second set, but they need something more if they want to come back and push it to a fifth set. Kurik's been pretty decent. He finally found his rhythm during the end of the third set. Can he maintain it during the fourth set there? He takes a little bit off. Gerbenikov with his usual great passing performance. Wow, fantastic dig from Kurik. Can they get a swing out of this? Driska takes the ball away from Slivka. And Klivno powers it through, but Zatorsky dives in front of Leon to dig it. And another no-block swing from Leon. They get dug from France. But there are only so many opportunities you have to dig Leon. But Kurik with another timely dig there. Look at that steal from Zatorsky. Actually, Leon probably could have gotten that one, but you want your liberos to be hyper-aggressive on defense. It's okay for your liberos to steal balls from other people. So Kurik and Zatorsky playing some great defense, allowing their big gun, Leon, to hit as many times as he wants in transition. Eventually, he's going to figure out how to get a kill. And Kurik a little bit conservative again with the serve. And France responds very well with that in-system offense there. Klivno has been so steady. Only 9 for 26. It feels like a lot more. Maybe because his kills are timely when France really needs him. Other than that, he's been keeping it efficient. Off pass from Leon there. Still fast on the set. And Leon loving that high angle swing, hitting
who can bounce it inside
near the
DB's
top
line,
of the French
bounce it
middle
down
blocker
the line,
Legoff.
and also bounce it into
That's
the
that
corner.
textbook swing, high, deep corner. Look how high that swing is. Usually hitters do that when the block is well formed and there are no seams
Middle blocker.
and the sharp angle is not a good option. They keep it high. Or sometimes when a hitter doesn't know what to do, they will go for that deep corner swing. Heavy serve. Great pass from Ingapet. Back set to Petrie. And Leon cannot run that down. Petrie again, so smart. Just tooling, chiseling, abusing the block. And that one, Poland looked like they had a solid block setup. And Brizard, by the way, the ball was passed far left, and he did a great job flipping it back, setting against the flow. That means when you're against the flow, the ball is passed one direction, and you set against the other
2
direction.
points up already.
So going against the flow of the ball. But Poland still had a great block setup.
Not looking at that scoreboard because there's still a long way to go in this set.
That's a much better toss. A little bit more in front, and Zatorsky keeping a low pass. That's a much better high swing from Keurig. He's such a powerful hitter and good jumper, good reach, that if he continues to keep it high, there's no reason why he cannot get a kill almost every time. So unfortunately that replay doesn't really show it, but he swings it, tools it off of the inside hand of the golf. 21 points on 32 attempts. That's incredible. Keurig having another world-class performance. Nowakowski, jump float. And so solid. So Petrie that time brings the heat off of a late Polish block. Does he get into the seam or the line? We'll see. Oh, that's a high swing into the high seam. And Nowakowski almost gets that dig as a middle blocker. I have not seen this many middles play this great of defense outside of the Olympics. Usually middles are black holes in defense. Every time the ball touches them, the ball goes up. But we've seen a lot of middles make some great plays. Fantastic pass from Leon. Ping pong defense from France here. Another opportunity for Slivka. Keeps it high. Great play from Grebennikov. Is he going to keep it fast to Ingapet? No. He hangs it high inside, which is what you want out of system. And Ingapet usually terminates on that, either high off the inside hand or sharp angle.
Top scorer so far is Jean Patry for France.
And Ingapet has been struggling during this match. He's been great on defense and blocking, but we have yet to see him get going on offense. We'll see if Kevin T. Lee will sub in for him, because Klivano has just been playing such a great match. No reason to take him out. And maybe that's why, because they've just been serving Ingapet short all match, keeping him from getting into his offensive rhythm. I think that's the reason why. So Poland's been doing such a great job disrupting Ingapet's rhythm, making him work hard to have to serve pass short and then transition to hit again. And Bizarre just throws him a set. And you notice that that last swing wasn't that hard, but the block was not ready for that. Slivka with another passing error here, but can he hit himself out of that? No, he does. A little bit hesitant on that swing. This is very uncharacteristic of Slivka. He's usually a much better passer and hitter than this. But I think this is his first Olympics, and so maybe he's a little nervous in this match. Might be a good time to bring in Kubiak, settle him down a little bit. That's a much better pass. And fast transition. Great soft block from Chinese here. Can they establish the middle? They go right back to their super right side hitter. Down the line. Look at that jump. Keurig does a great job lining up, but hits right over. Ooh. So that ball looks out, but I believe it will be called in due to the ball compression. So those are either the line judge calls it in, but when it's that close to the sideline, you usually get a part of the ball in. There we go. Poland has not found an answer for Petrie. Coach Vital is telling his team to smile. He probably feels that Poland's just playing a little too tight right now. That's funny. Great coaching advice. Slivka struggling again to pass. And great dig from Klivano. That's what we're used to seeing from Ingapet, that high out-of-system smart swing. And France knows that they need to get Ingapet back on track, so they all go and celebrate with him. That's what we're used to seeing from the athletic, dynamic Ingapet. So Binyek, 8 kills on 12 attempts. Great hitting performance from him. Let's see if we can get a few more blocks from him as well. Slivka with his jump serve. No, he goes back to a jump float. And Ingapet just passing it really well. Chinese with that drifting middle attack. You'll see him jump straight ahead, and then he drifts. You have him leaning. So Binyek just a little bit late to that block. And easy put away from Chinese. Chinese has great jumping ability. He's not just tall, but he's got some hang time, giving him options in the air to see the block here. Brazard does his serve short to Ingapet again. I'm sorry, just short to Leon. And Leon just crushes the ball as if there's no blocker. You can tell by the France middle back defender that the ball was in with his slumped shoulders, so no need to challenge this one. It's early in the game. You don't want to waste a challenge. Binyek's been so consistent with serving. And that's been the story of this match. Whichever team can serve in and tough is the one that will come out ahead. But so hard to do when you're trying to serve that tough. And into the net as soon as I talk about him. But he's been serving so well that you're going to accept some of those errors there. It's crazy how consistent Binyek is with his hybrid serve. Ingapet's been struggling. He served a lot of balls out. Can he get on top of it to try to get it into the court here? Yes, he does. Slivka with another tough pass there as Zatorsky sets up Leon. But when you have Leon on the team, especially when he's in rhythm, he has a certain look in his eyes. Look at the fire and aggression in his eyes. He's just in another mode. See, he aims high on the outside blocker against Petrie. So high and so hard. Look at those eyes there. He knows he's unstoppable. He is in one of his rhythms where no one can touch him. Can he maintain that throughout the entire match? That would be the question. So far he has. A little bit off the pass there. High swing from Petrie. Petrie has also been unstoppable. He doesn't have that fiery look in his eyes, but he's been just as unstoppable as Leon. He's the opposite personality, just steady and calm, relaxed, gets the job done. Ooh, anytime the ball's above your shoulders like that, it's most likely going to be out. Jump float to Slivka, he handles that well. And for some reason, Leon takes a little bit off. Are they going to free ball it over? Zatorsky, can he pass the ball well enough? Yes, he can. And that's more like it. It's the same play, and Leon just crushes it even harder. Look at that follow through there. Klivno actually does a great read. See how open to the net Leon is? As an outside hitter from the left side, you need to face your setter to position your body to get ready to rotate back into the court. And that's partly why Leon hits so hard, as he rotates into the ball so well. Semyek in as a blocking sub for Slivka. That was a hammer. I could barely see that serve live. And you got an ace against Grebennikov, one of the world's best passers. So Grebennikov doesn't even have time to get his shoulders to face the net. That's the only reason why the ball was shanked to the left, because he could not get his shoulder. He cannot drop his right shoulder to angle his platform back to the center. Leon, this is an incredible performance from Leon. And this is typical Leon. When the pressure's on, he usually rises to the occasion. Another hard serve, but straight into the net. We'll take that trade-off. Now he needs to focus on his pass and defense. And they'll probably run him from the back row again. He's been very successful from the big. And Drizka has been finding his hitting window almost like a back row one. So hard to stop off of a perfect pass. And France from the bench trying to get into the action here. Keep their team going. Great toss from Petrie. Now he hits that a little bit behind the ball. He needs to get on top of that ball. That was a good toss. just out. You can see the trajectory of the ball. It's a little bit up and down, almost like a flat rainbow. The serve has to be flat, and the top spin is what keeps the ball in. Nowakowski has been on multiple serving runs, even though it's not super tough. Oh, just high into the hands. Klivno again, so dependable. Now what a blessing for France to have Klivno on the left and Patry on the right. Two options to spread the blockers out. Even when Ingapet is struggling, France has other great hitters that they can depend on. And that's what you need to be a world-class team. You can't just depend on a superstar. Drive your float serve. Semeniuk with a great pass, but he gets blocked all the way. And Leon with a cover. Quick set to Ingapet, and he hangs and bangs. He does what Leon does. He hangs in the air, waits for the block to drop on the way down. Goes for that line. You don't want to challenge line against Brizard. He's been shutting that down. So he keeps it a little bit high for Ingapet. But you see how Driska's on the way down. Driska's timing is good. He's jumping with the hitter. But Ingapet's so smart, he waits for the ball to drop. And then he hits on the way down there. Much higher swing from Keurig. Great dig. Oh no, that's a fast transition. That's what we're used to seeing from France. Ingapet is so athletic that he does not need an approach to get a good swing. And he doesn't even need a swing on this one. He taps the ball into the block there. Now crazy that France has come back with a 2-point lead. It looked like Poland had a lot of momentum. Zatorski takes that one, sets him high, and Keurig keeps the ball high. That's going to be the story of this match. Can Keurig keep his swings high? Poland has a good chance there. Tools off the shorter blocker of Ingapet there. Great in-tempo set from Zatorski. Now France has come back into the game. Klivno and Patry have been playing really well, but Ingapet has gotten into the action. That's given them a couple more points. Another short serve to Ingapet, and Legoff. Binyek does a great job slowing the ball down, but Legoff, the rugby player, built like a rugby player here, jumps so high and hits so hard there. He has a little bit of a loopy arm swing, brings his hand down, so it's hard to read. The downside of that type of arm swing is it's a little bit slower. Jump float, and Semeniuk coming in to pass nails, and there we go with Leon again from the Bic. Now that's what happens when Binyek becomes an offensive threat. You open things up for your other hitters. Oh no, Chinese reads that really well, and so does Ingapet. Brizard bails and leaves the other side of the court open. So the middle's not even jumping with Binyek. They are focusing on Leon because Leon attacking 22 points on 32 attempts. What a great performance from him here. And there's another drifting Chinese. They need to get a little more outside of Chinese than they think because they keep jumping with his feet. Need to jump a little more right to compensate for the drifting technique that Chinese has, because he's been abusing that cutback swing. And great job from Brizard for setting it across Chinese's shoulder so he can drift into that window. Great pass from Binyak here. Can he establish him? And they still cannot stop Leon. They know it's going to him. They had a great two-man block. But when Leon is in his unstoppable mode, no one can touch him. And they need Leon to have a big game in order to shut down the hustle and defense from France. Binyak misses last serve, but that's rare. Usually very consistent here with this hybrid serve. That's much better. That's what we're used to seeing. They just keep it high and in play. And Patry has been unstoppable this whole match. He keeps it high into the block. It's a soft block there. And France responds with their own Bic. Klivno with a heavy arm there. Look at how hard this hits. And he continues to hit towards Drizka, who struggles to get any digs from Klivno, even though it's right at him there. Look at that soft touch from Brizard, and Nowakowski has to jump with Chinese. Roll shot short.
Trying to be clever, and it's fair play. He wanted to bring
He's probably trying to get Leon out of his hitting rhythm. Anything to disrupt Leon, because he's just... If you cannot affect Leon, you will not win this match. Every time he touches the ball, Poland has scored the point. So that's a risk you need to take to try to get Leon out of the game here. Now Keurig struggling with his serve. Takes a little bit off just to keep it in play. And another drifting set. It's hard to see from this angle, but Chinese jumps straight and then he jumps laterally. So he jumps straight and he drifts, and that's what creates that opening. So if I'm the middle blocker, I would actually start my base defense a little bit to the right to get a head start and make it easier for me to jump into the drifting window. And to the into serve for Chinese. Try to get a little defense and maybe get a couple aces for his topspin serve. Now he goes in for the jump float again, serving to Semeniuk, who's a great passer. And they do not have an answer for Leon. If anything, I would serve Leon just to make him work a little bit more. Even if Leon passes an easy float serve like that well, at least he has to work a little bit more. You have a chance of tiring him out. So that was a poor serving choice from Tilly. Now, even though France is up by 1 point, it feels like Poland is ahead. They have the momentum. They have the edge right now. Solid serve from Leon, but Grebennikov can turn his shoulders in time. Another great high swing from Klivno. What a smart swing, but he gets a tool. So that's one thing to learn from Klivno and Petrie. Even though they get blocked, it's a high block off the hands, back into the court, easy to play. If they swing low, it's going to go straight down. So Klivno and Petrie continue to keep their swings high, something that Poland needs to do a better job of from the high ball hitters. Except for Leon. He's actually been swinging high and hard this entire match, and straight down. He's got everything, except for the roll shot and the tip, because he doesn't need to. Easy pass from Zatorsky there. And that's a high swing, but missed contact from Keurig. Let's see if it was the set was low, or maybe he just tried to swing a little too high. But if he's gonna miss, that is the right way to miss, because you have a chance to catch some fingers on the block. If you hit straight down, you have a high risk of getting blocked, and France has been shutting the low seam down very well here. High pass from Semeniuk. High set to him, and he gets shut down again. That is tough. Semeniuk, you're going to get pretty good ball control, but he's been struggling out of system this whole tournament. I probably would have gone back to Keurig again to give him another opportunity, but France has just been blocking so well with great size with Legoff and Bizard. Easy pass. Are they going to go back to Keurig? No, they run Nowakowski, keeping the middle honest. Nowakowski should be starting a lot more. Kochanowski might be a little more athletic, but Nowakowski is so steady and so consistent there. Kaczmarek, can he get a tough serve without foot faulting? And we have Kochanowski. We just have a huge Polish front row here. Russia being the biggest team in the world, and Poland being a close second. So they will take advantage of their size with these blocking substitutions. Kaczmarek serves a great serve down the line, keeps a little off. And does he get hands? Klivno is convinced. I don't think France has used a challenge at this whole match, so it's funny how they continue to say touch, 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 even though the challenge has already been requested. And Ingapet hugging his setter Bizard, thanking him probably for getting him back into the game. That's the type of attitude you want to see from one of your leaders, Ingapet. You don't want to see people giving people stares and yelling at each other. You have to uplift each other and make each other better. So my guess is that most likely there was a touch, because Klivno, he's one of the more experienced players. And if he was convinced, sometimes you can't always see it at that pace, but you can hear the flick of the finger if you do get it. And this will be huge for Poland if there is no touch, because Leon will rotate in the front row very soon, and they've been struggling to stop Leon. Oh, he does get a fingertip. Great call from Klivino there, and that was so intentional to aim out into the fingertips. Poland did nothing wrong with that block. That was just a perfect swing from France here. So instead of being 20-22, it is now 23-19. 4-point lead. Boyer coming in to block for Ingapet. And Tilly, walking with his hands behind his back, almost acts like a father to the team. Trying to manage a bunch of young guys. And look at the coordination between Grebennikov and Boyer. Kind of coordinate who's going to block where, so Grebennikov knows where to dig around the block. Jump float from Klivino, that's rare, usually has been jump serving. And another opportunity for Semeniuk. And what trust from Driska to get Semeniuk into the game here. That was a ballsy move from Driska, because Semeniuk, his first two swings were not very good. Now, Poland will probably continue to serve Ingapet short to disrupt his rhythm, to try to continue to tire him out, get him out of his hitting rhythm. Leon still in the back row. And that's a much better play. That's what we're used to seeing from Ingapet. So Ingapet finally finding his rhythm, and that's a big reason why France has such a big lead. Because every player was contributing, but in order to win, in order to be a world-class team, you'll see it from Brazil, from Poland, Italy, Russia, you need contributions from every player on the team. You can't have just one all-star. That's the main difference here. Luati with a jump serve. Great serve, but well handled from Leon there. And Keurig with an easy tool off the line from Bizard. Bizard's been doing such a good job blocking the line. But what Keurig does is he keeps the ball high. He has the height advantage. So he probably tooled him high off into the hands, which is rare because Bizard's so big and he's a good jumper. Semeniuk, a little bit more of a conservative server. Can he handle the pressure to try to earn one more point from Poland there? Oh, that's a tough serve, but Grebennikov handling it very well. And again, Driska with another missed dig. That's one thing you're not going to get from most setters is spectacular defense. They have so much to think about, and that's not their specialty. So, tough play from Driska. This is going to the fifth set. We are starting with Benignac serving. And tough pass from France. Already off to a bad start for France, but Ingapet bails them out. In the same way that Leon is in an unstoppable rhythm, Ingapet is now in that zone. So how is Poland going to respond? Poland has development from Leon, both middles. Keurig has been a little streaky. They need development from their other outside hitter, just like France has contributions from every single player on the court now. And Brazard needed to get on some type of serving run. In a game to 15, you don't get to rotate too often, so Brazard might only get one more chance to get on a serving run, whereas usually in games he might get 3 opportunities to rotate.
It's got to be a huge factor.
Topspin serve from Keurig. Fantastic pass from Grebennikov. So steady. And rare digging mistake from Zatorsky. He does so well with some of those hard hits. And Petrie just aims high, hard, deep corner. Great read from Zatorsky, but he just cannot control that. And he does a good job swinging over Driska. And Driska thought that ball was out because it was over him, not realizing that Petrie being so tall and jumping very well here. Top spin. Great serve from Ingapet. And Leon, look at that great read from Grebennikov. Can Ingapet... Oh, he does challenge the block high. Even though Ingapet was early, he hung, saw the block, Look at this. Look at this play here. Out of system, Ingapet going for broke, and he hits into the block with an easy tool. Wow, what a spectacular performance from Ingapet. He was just trying to go for the tool, and you get to see that rare emotion from Coach Tilly, the father, the godfather of French volleyball. Top spin in, well handled by Zatorsky, and there we have Leon shutting it down. Leon needs to have an even more dominant performance if the other Polish hitters are not going to step up their game. Might be a good chance to bring back Kubiak, give him a chance to contribute with his fire and determination. And Ingapet, you can't talk enough about how he has brought his team into the 5th set. He is the reason why they've gone and won that 4th set here when Poland had so much momentum and great performance from everybody. That is the miss that France needed, and Leon knows that. It was a great serve, just missed into the top of the net, almost trickled over. And Bazar getting his team pumped up with a couple claps, a couple talks, a couple hugs. You need to engage your team to keep everyone focused and keep the energy positive. Great hand pass from Zatorsky. And they soft blocks, Legoff soft blocks, but Patrice so good out of system. Recycles it off the block. They're going to set out of system to Klivno, who's also been so good. And Klivno swings like there's no block. That is a world-class swing. This is a big triple block. And to hit this angle, the swing has to be perfect. You see how Zatorsky is not even there because nobody even tries to go for that. But Klivno, France coming up big. This amount of momentum that France has is pretty scary. Now, Poland did lose a close match against Iran in the same fashion. Will it be a repeat? France with so much fire now on their side here. And, wow, great rundown from Slivka. That is amazing. And Slivka loses focus after that missed pass. Look at this hustle from Driska. One of the greatest hustle plays I've seen a setter, keeping it alive, and Slivka just stands around, and Petri focused the entire time. Semeniuk. Interesting why they don't bring Kubiak in. I know he hasn't played that well starting the match, but you need more than just skill. You need energy. You need fire. You need determination, just like France has. You need a strong will, and that's what Kubiak brings. Can they save it? No. Great hustle from a little gymnastics move from Chinese, but it looks like he's safe, hopping over the barrier. That's what we talked about. France is just playing with another level of determination as a whole. Poland has a few players playing with that determination. Leon, Driska, Zatorsky, Kurek. But everyone else just seems to be a passive teammate. You have to give more than just your physical self if you want to win at this level, especially when you're down 3-6. Nowakowski with a solid serve usually, but cannot handle the pressure. Rare error from a veteran. Usually they are the ones that have been in this pressure situation multiple times and know how to handle that. Look at that. Every play, France bringing it in the middle, having a conversation, lots of pats on the back. This is the energy that every team needs to have if they want to compete at this level. Great pass from Leon. Can they run the Bic? They slow it down. They actually double commit on that. Are they going to set back to Kurek? Oh, almost saved from Grebenikov. Wow. What faith Driska has in Semeniuk. And Semeniuk has come through big time. Another high, hard swing there. Look at that. That's a perfect swing off the hands of the block. And this is the first time that France has actually slowed down Leon. So Driska needs to reestablish that middle to open up things for Leon again, because Leon one-on-one is not stoppable. Great dig from Leon. Can they set Kurek out of system? No, they choose Semeniuk. slowed down by the French block, probably back one to Le Goff, and they cannot adjust out of transition. France is just on another level, and they've been maintaining it for over a set, and there's no sign of them stopping. So after both teams have switched sides, jump throw from Kivino. And there we go with the middle establishment, but now they're trying to take away Binyek's angle, and Ingapet in the same zone that Leon is. He just getting more hitting opportunities. Tilly telling his team to calm down. The game is not over yet. How does Poland respond here?
It's not done yet, but they're not far away.
This must be so frustrating to watch from the bench if you're a Polish player. France up by 5 points. That's a huge lead when you're only playing to 15. Another soft jump float, well handled by Poland. And Keurig gets the job done from the left side. And France is just reading the block so well. They get two blockers up there. They know they're not going to set Bieniek. And Le Goff is set up pretty well. Little shuffle block. His hands are over, but Bieniek just hits too hard. You see how still Le Goff's hands are. So that's a great blocking move. Even if he's a little bit late, he finishes his block with his hands there. Solid serve from Bieniek, but Ingapet probably going to get the set. And when he gets the set after he passes, he is nearly unstoppable. And now he's talking trash. What a great move from Coach Tilly to leave Ingapet in there, even when he was struggling, trusting that Ingapet was going to figure it out. And sometimes that's what you need to do with your great players. Let them figure it out because you know you're going to need them to win the game. I was wrong earlier to suggest that they should sub in Kevin Tilly, because now Ingapet has found his rhythm. And I believe there was a touch from Chinese. I heard a little bit off the block there. Up ref calls it. Leon's still unstoppable, but they are starting to slow him down just a little bit. And Chinese is celebrating already like he didn't hit. Look how open he is. He goes cross, hits on the top left of the ball to hit that sharp angle. And Ingapet, even now, he's contributing to trying to get his team up. Bieniek needs a big serving performance, even if it's just 2 points. Can he serve consistent enough? Great serve into the seam, but look at that pass from Klivino. Back set to Petrie, soft block, well dug by Keurig. Are they going to set to Leon? Yes, they are. High off the block, they slow it down. Fast transition to Chinese, and they've been struggling to stop the middle attack transition from France. And France has been doing such a good job running that back one off of a soft block there. Look at Brazard finding his middles. And Brazard might be the new starting setter for France in the future. No complaints from Ingapet. Boyer coming in for a blocking specialist, giving France a little bit more size. Now France has a huge front row. 6'9", 6'10", all the way across the board. Semeniuk with a great pass. And Keurig, they get a soft block here. Gerbenikov with the bump set to Boyer with his first swing. And Boyer comes in with a huge swing off the bench. He's probably warm from all the yelling. Poland struggling to find answers. Keurig doing his best to keep his team engaged. But the rest of Poland just looks discouraged. This is something that France always does well. They never look like they give up. They're always fighting even when they're losing. Another great pass from Semeniuk. And hard hit from Leon. And Coach Tilly almost gets the dig. That was hilarious. Did he get that touch? Did Coach Tilly get the touch? Oh no, Coach Tilly misses the dig there. Oh, that's a great confidence booster and morale booster from your team when your coach gets in the action here. So funny. He's still got the diving. Look at that diving move, the sprawl. The Godfather. Kochanovsky in to try to get a little bit of a blocking advantage here. And Keurig cannot muster a good enough serve. Now France only 2 points away from advancing, I believe, to their first semifinals in a long time. At least in terms of the Olympics. France had a solid team in the 80s, but it's been a while since they've played this well in this big of a match. Great serve from Ingapet, forced the one-hand set from Driska, but Leon continues to maintain his zone. Look at that great one-handed set. Stiff arm points to the zone, and that's how you finish with a one-handed set. And Leon, even though the line was open, he's going to continue to crush that angle until they stop him. Now Leon has had dominant serving performances before. He has to muster something even greater than what he's doing now to get Poland back. No, it is semi-final game point, meaning if they win, they are going to the semifinals. Brizard has come in so big for France here to give them the boost they needed after that first set loss. Deep float from Chinese here. Semeniuk puts the ball away. Almost got the scoop dig from Klevino. You'll see that scooping technique again when the ball is traveling that fast. Kazmarek, is he into serve or block? He's into serve. One of the toughest jobs of his career right now. Can he serve Poland back in from 9-14? Can he make history for Poland to come back? Kirik focused on his next task, just clapping his hands, getting his team going, trying to get Kazmarek into a good place here. Kazmarek takes off a little bit, and Legoff puts the ball away. France coming back. What a big fight. And Kirik with tears in his eyes, his Olympic dreams taken away. Emotional time for both teams. One team crying out of defeat and one team making program history. That was a crazy match. If I just watched the first set, even the second and third set, I would have put my money that Poland would have finished the job. But Poland has had a history of losing tough matches when it gets close. Like mentally, something about the team chemistry where they're unable to just figure it out and fight a little harder. They tend to get discouraged. You know, minus the 2016 World Championship performance, which was amazing, by the way, when they won. But I thought things would change after that, but they continue to lose some close games there. And credit to France for not giving up. That is how you play volleyball at a mental level. When you are being crushed by Polish serving pressure, Polish blocking, and nothing seems to be working, and one of your best players, Ingapet, is struggling. He is the one that's setting the example of what it means to not give up and to continue to be aggressive and assertive. And once again, I want to compliment Coach Tilly, not only for almost digging the ball from the sideline, but for just trusting his players to do the right thing and to find themselves in this match, because Ingapet was the reason why they won. Brizard came in and had a great setting performance, but Ingapet was the one that really got him out of tough situations. So Brizard started that. And Petrie, wow, what a fantastic match from Petrie and Klivino. That's how you hit. You swing smart, you swing high, and you don't try to bounce the ball. So a lot of things to learn. If you're an up and coming hitter, you got to study the performance from Klivino and Petrie. What patience and what great decision making from those two hitters there. I feel bad for Poland. They worked just as hard as France leading up to this point, and I feel especially bad for Kirik. Just seeing him tear up after the match, you know how much this match meant to him, and knows that he was waiting for this moment to hopefully try to make it to the first Olympic finals. And he's just one of my favorite players to watch, and I just feel bad. But you can't help but get excited for France because they are the underdog. They've been the underdog for so long, proving people wrong. Last year making it to the Olympics, getting knocked out, and this year making it to the semifinals with the same group. And what a great job that Coach Tilly has with keeping this group together and training them to continue to fight And this is French volleyball. Brazil has their own style. Japan has their own style. French volleyball is all about being the underdog, playing with attitude, playing smart, and playing all out all the time. You saw that move that Chinese did. As a middle blocker not known for defense, he was hustling and had to jump over 2 barriers trying to save the ball even though he didn't get it. So that was a fantastic match. Thanks for suggesting that. I'm looking forward to the semifinals because there's been a lot of upsets in this Tokyo Olympics so far. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys in the next one.